Later, I see a very wide country. The moon is at its zenith, and she is sailing smoothly in a sky crowded with stars. They look like diamond studs fixed to a huge canopy of dark blue velvet, and the moon is smiling in the middle of them with her big white face, from which streams of light descend and make the earth white. The barren trees seem taller and darker against so white a ground, whereas the low walls which rise here and there on the boundaries look as white as milk, and a little house far away seems a block of Carrara marble. On my right, I see a place enclosed by a thornbush hedge on two sides, and by a low rugged wall on the other two. The wall supports a kind of low wide shed, which inside the enclosure is built in masonry and part in wood, as if in summer the wooden part should be removed and the shed should become a porch. From the enclosure, intermittent short bleatings can be heard now and again. It must be the little sheep which dream, or perhaps sense that it is almost daybreak because of the very bright moonlight. The brightness is intense to an excessive degree, and it is increasing more and more, as if the planet were coming near the earth, or were sparkling because of a mysterious fire. A shepherd looks out of the door, and lifting one arm to his forehead to shield his eyes, he looks up. It seems improbable that one should protect one's eyes from moonlight, but the moonlight in this case is so bright that it blinds people, particularly those who come out from a dark enclosure. Everything is calm, but the bright moonlight is surprising. The shepherd calls his companions. They all come to the door, a group of hairy men of various ages. Some are just teenagers. Some are already white-haired. They comment on the strange event, and the younger ones are afraid. One in particular, a boy about 12 years old, starts crying, and the older shepherds jeer at him. "What are you afraid of, you fool?" the oldest man says to him. "Can't you see that the air is very quiet? Have you never seen clear moonlight? You've always been tied to your mother's apron strings, haven't you? But there are many things for you to see. Once, I'd gone as far as the Lebanon mountains, even farther. High up, I was young, and walking was a pleasure. And I was also rich then. One night, I saw such a bright light that I thought Elijah was about to come back in his chariot of fire. And an old man, he was the old man then, said to me, 'A great adventure is about to take place in the world.' It was for us a misadventure, because the Roman soldiers came. Oh, many things you will see if you live long enough." But the little shepherd is no longer listening to him. He looks as if he is no longer frightened, because he leaves the threshold and steals from behind the shoulders of a brawny herdsman, behind whom he had previously sought shelter, and goes out onto the grassy fold in front of the shed. He looks up and walks about like a sleepwalker, or one hypnotised by something that compellingly attracts him. At a certain moment he shouts, "Oh!" and remains petrified, with his arms slightly stretched out. His mates look at one another, dumbfounded. "But what is the matter with the fool?" says one. "I will send him back to his mother tomorrow. I don't want mad people as guardians of the sheep," says another. And the old man, who had spoken earlier, says, "Let us go and see before we judge him. Call also the others who are sleeping, and bring your sticks. It might be a wild animal or some robber." They go in. They call the other shepherds, and they come out with torches and clubs.